Good morning and welcome to the webinar this morning. My name is Greg Wilson. I'm the Sales Executive for Cruiseco. I also have on the webinar with me this morning Amber Reid, who will be here to answer any questions. Just due to the numbers that we have planned to be online, you won't be able to actually speak to me, but if you want to ask any questions, she will be here hopefully to answer them, or if you've got questions at the end, we can then come through and answer those later. So thank you for joining. What I'd like to run through this morning with you quickly is about using our Cruise Finder on the website and also making using our API booking engines to make bookings with live availability for a number of different cruise lines that we have access to. So we'll start with the Cruise Finder and just kind of show a few things. You're probably all well aware of using sort of Cruise Finder sort of format and choosing all the sort of options there. I normally use the top four. I find if I put too much information in, I may not find what I'm looking for, and you probably do something similar. You probably have some idea from your clients as to what it is that you're actually looking for. So just as a sort of example, I'm just going to bring up one of our packages just for a starting one. It's going to be for P&O UK, so we'll just put this in with P&O Europe and World Voyages. We then I'll put in Ventura, so it's nice and simple. And if we just put in a cruise date, you may or may not know what this is. You may know that the client wants to go on a specific ship, so you don't have to put in all of this information, but it will narrow it down a bit. I normally use these top four because I find them the most useful. The bottom four I do find narrow it down maybe a little bit too much. So just hit find, and it'll go off and bring up the next screen, which will be the actual itinerary. So it brings up all the itineraries for this particular ship in that month of September. So you've got all of these sailings. You'll also see where we've got little dollar signs. This actually means that we have got group allocation. We've packaged it up, and you can actually go in there and it'll actually show that up. With this particular part, we have had a bit of an enhancement to the system recently. It will actually give more live costing of the actual package with the cruise with any specials that are there, but you won't actually be able to book it directly this way. But as you'll see, it brings up all the details. We've got the itinerary there. Also got the whole package, what the inclusions are. You can choose in the normal cruises what the number of passengers are, but I'll show you that shortly. You've got the inclusions, so you've got your return economy class airfare, your 2 nights pre-cruise in Venice, and then your 14-night cruise aboard Ventura, and it also tells you if there's any onboard credit there. You've got the flight details down here, so you can sort of see what the details of all of that are. And then it gives you the costings. Now, this actually is giving it with the available cabin grades which the cruise has at the moment. If you did want to actually book one of these, the best way to do that is to actually go back one screen and go to the actual date on the listing of the cruise. So if we go just to this 10th of September here, it's the same cruise that the dollar signs was for. Just click on the date. It's very simple to use, and hopefully this will show it. It takes a little bit longer because it's actually getting the live availability for the cruise from the Polar online systems or Cruising Power at the moment for the brands that we have. So you've got all of the different cabin grades here. If you wanted to book that package, just book one of the cruises and just send reservations and email asking them to please turn this booking into the package with all the flights and accommodation included. So if we just go into any grade, we could actually bring up this one, just hit book or inquire for the JA grade, and it's just gone off to their system to actually bring up all the cabin grades which are available at the moment. So under the cabin selection, as you can see, there's not too much left in this particular cabin grade. Sometimes there's a long list of them all, and I'll show you that in a couple later. But in this particular one, there's only one cabin that is actually available to pick right now, or you can go with a guarantee at the moment. So if we just pick this E632, you also have the opportunity of information about the cabins and also the deck plans. So we've got some information just to make your life easier if you've got a client there with you. And also with the deck plans, you can bring up a big version of this. E-deck. you'll see a very small one. If you just click on it and go back up the page, it shows you a nice big version. So if you had a client there, you want to show them what's close to it, whether the lifts are close or far, or the laundromats, something like that, where the lifeboats are, it can be very handy for that. So that's just another little bit that's in there. But going back to the cabin selection, we picked the cabin. You then have the choice of dining. This is off their system, so if for some reason one of the options isn't available on their system, like the first or second seating dining, it will actually not show up here. It will only show the type of dining options which are available at the time of booking. If your client wants one of the ones that isn't available, we can definitely request it. There is a box towards the bottom that you can put that in. So we just pick one of those. It's then generated the actual costing here for it. You can add airfares in hotels pre or post if you wanted to, but honestly, for the purpose of what I'm going to show you now, we're looking at sort of the booking of the cruise. All you need to do is put the client's details in here, first, middle name if they've got one, last name, their date of birth, and nationality. You can put the Qantas frequent flyer number in, but they don't have to at this point. In this case, you can put whether they're past passengers and whether they have a preferred agency. When you log in, because I'm not actually logged in as yourself, it will give you, you can put all your details in there. You've also got the opportunity on special requirements for like dining, or if there's any medical requests, issues, something like that, this can all be put in there at that time. And if you just put your details in here, it will all come up with that. So the first thing, when you're making a booking with our website as an agent, you do need to just hit the login button. All the offices will have one login for that, and that's the one requirement that we have. That's to basically identify that it has been made through your office, so that when we see it come through, everything matches up. But once you've got the booking done, you can just hit and put all your details in here. You just hit the book cruise with the terms and conditions, and then the book cruise. The next screen you see for this will actually be a booking number for P&O Worldwide Voyages. That will then get sent along with the information that you have sent. So we'll receive the invoice from the cruise line plus the information that you have put in there. We'll put that into our booking system, our reservation system, and then get that invoiced out to you. So it's a very easy. You will get to see also on the next screen what the actual deposit due date is on there as well. So that's sort of one of the things. Now I'm going to run through a few of the other ones. At the moment, for the API, all the different booking engines that we have put together for this particular website, for the intranet white label websites, you can now book Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Azamara, Princess, Cunard, P&O World Voyages, as well as our Cruise Code Music Charters, and also European Enchantment Azamara Charter. So at the moment, you won't be able to book our river cruise charters simply because they've got a lot of land content, but it could be something we're working on. We also hope to shortly have Holland America and Seabourn up and running, and before the end of the year, we are hoping for Norwegian cruise lines as well. I'm going to run through a couple of examples of some of the cruise lines. So just as an example, we'll start with the Royal Caribbean one, because this one's just, the Royal Caribbean Celebrity and Azamara systems have just gone through some upgrades, and the amount of information that we can show you, the specials, all of that type of thing has improved quite dramatically recently. So just as an example, I'm going to bring up Royal Caribbean Enchantment of the Seas, and we'll put that in for the January 15. I know it's only a short cruise that I'm having a look at here, but it's a good example. So what it's going to do is just going off to the Cruising Power system, because it actually brings all the information straight from that system, or from Polar Online. So we've built in the back, nice and easy. So it's got all the cruises here for January. I'm just going to pick the 19th of January, little four-nighter out of Port Canaveral. And that's now gone off. Got the itinerary come up here. You've got the choice of the number of passengers in the cabin, so it will give you a costing up to a quad. As with any of the Royal Caribbean systems, if you had more than 4 passengers and the cabin bay could handle it, you will actually need to come through to reservations ourselves. But in this case, we'll just leave it as the 2. You are now able to put in promotion codes. So if you know of the promotion codes that Royal Caribbean has, you will actually be able to apply that directly in here. It also works for like Pick Your Perk. Another option that is now available is to put in whether the client is over the age of 55. It will also generate another set of fares if there is an over 55 sort of seniors fare for that. And also you've got the choice of putting in the loyalty club numbers as well. So the Crown and Anchor numbers, you can put them directly in. And again, if there is a cruise fare for the Crown and Anchor members, which happens on some cruises, it will also list these fares and add those to it. So as you can see, we've got the buy one get one half price fare coming up here, and it's got those showing. So we can actually pick a cabin grade from this. It only shows what cabins are available on these live API booking engines. So for an example, we'll just pick a standard outside cabin, and it's now going off to Cruising Power to find out exactly the cabin numbers that are available in the live availability. And we have quite a range here, as you can sort of see. It gives you the actual cabin number, which deck it's on. You've also got whether it's midship, and also the maximum number of guests. So if you were looking at 3 or 4, it may show some cabins in here as well with 3 or 4, but these ones are just 2. So we just pick a cabin. You've got the choice of the dining preference, so you've got the traditional 545, the traditional 830, or the My Time dining. So if we just pick the traditional, it will then actually generate those costings for us, as you can see down here. Just get that to fit on the screen. It's also showing the discount for the second passenger directly here. As I said, it's on that special at the moment. We do have 3 different options for fares on this particular grade. If you wanted to actually add in the gratuities, at the moment we have taken the gratuities out, but if you wanted to, you can add them in, which is how we normally promote them. It'll actually just add the gratuities in here for you. If the client is doing My Time dining, it will require that they do have the gratuities in there. So if we go no, it'll keep those in there for us. So I'm just going to make it nice and easy, and we'll go back to traditional and put the yes in there. So you've got the choice here. If you click through the different fares, it shows them and it changes them automatically for you. So in this case, we've got the buy one get one half price with the sort of special there. Or we've got the best rate, which is just the standard. So it's kind of depending on what your client's looking for. If there's onboard credits, it will also show those details here, and whether there's like senior discounts. So you've got the opportunity to add those in. Again, you can add in the airfares if you wanted to, or the pre or post cruise accommodation. You can put whether you are a past passenger, but in this case you have actually added it in if you are. Where you can choose whether you'd like to be contacted by email or phone. We can normally say email for these. You can then pick your agency out of this list and just put any special requirements, like whether they're maybe medical conditions, or whether they're required to be linked to another booking because they're traveling with other people, those types of things. And again, just put your contact details in, click the book cruise, the terms and conditions box, and book cruise. The next screen that you'll actually get is the booking number for Royal Caribbean and the deposit due date, and then again it gets sent to us and we'll get that as a normal invoice out for you. So we've got that for Royal Caribbean. Just to show you another one for Princess as an example, because there's a little bit of difference in how it shows, but it is fairly similar. We'll go for Princess. We'll have a look at Royal Princess, and we'll have a look at the July next year. We just hit find. And as we go along, we've got the 8th. We'll just have a look at the 20th of July. So again, it's come up with the itinerary. You've got all the available cabin grades here. If you wanted to have a single, triple, or quad, you can adjust it to however many passengers in that cabin that you are looking for. So we can just pick any grade here. Let's have a look, see what have we got that looks nice. We'll go with the BA grade outside. We'll hit the book or inquire. It's then gone off to Polar to actually find out which cabin grades are available for that. So we've got, as you can see, we've got a range of cabin numbers here, plus also the opportunity to do the guarantee. So we just click that Aloha 443, and then we've got the dining preference of early, the first seating, traditional, and then the second seating and anytime dining. So we can pick any of these. In regards to Princess and the Polar, the Carnival brands that we have got, the Princess, P&O, World Cruises, and also Cunard, they don't have the opportunity to add gratuities, as you know that they will do it on board if they've got those applicable. So it's given us the costing here. Again, you can just put in the passenger details down the bottom. They also ask for the date of birth, the nationality, and then you can just put in the sort of your contact details here, and whether there's any special requirements. Again, just clicking on the terms and conditions and then the book cruise, the next screen will be your actual Princess booking number. Now that's a couple of examples of the two main types of APIs that we've got. Just to run through those again, we can do API book. You can book live online for Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Azamara, Princess, Cunard, and P&O World Voyages. Now I'm going to show you how you can make a booking for our music charters. We've got this directly linked to our reservation system, so if you did want to make a booking, if you had a client in there, these are our exclusive products. You can actually make these directly online, and it's very, very simple. So if we just go even under destination and go to Cruiseco Charter and just hit find, it's as simple as that. It then brings this up. So we've got all of the different music charters that we have, from Cruise and Country number 4, Rock the Boat 4, Bravo, Mediterranean Montage, European Enchantment, and also for next year, Cruise and Country 5 and Rock the Boat 5. The only one at the moment you are not able to book online is Mediterranean Montage. There is only a few cabins left on the sailing anyway, but all of the other ones of these music charters and the European Enchantment you can book online. So as an example, I'm just going to have a look at Bravo, which is our Cruise of the Performing Arts later this year in November on Radiance of the Seas. We just click on the date, and it brings up the details of the actual cruise here. And then you'll see all the cabin grades here with the costings. Now, one thing that is slightly different with the music charters is that it will actually show, in some cases, you can go into these, but it may show that there's actually no availability in some categories. I will show you an example of this on Rock the Boat 4, because there's a lot of categories which are currently full on that one. I picked one on this particular one that actually doesn't have one. If you go into a cabin grade for the music charters that doesn't have availability, it clearly says it here, no cabins available in this category. So we just go back one page, and I'll go to a D1. Okay. Just click on the D1 and this one. So you've got the choice of the number of passengers. We've got 3 cabins left in this particular, in the D1 grade, cabin grade on Bravo, on Radiance of the Seas. It gives you the actual cabin number. It tells you what the maximum number of guests for the cabin is. So we can just pick one of those. With the dining preference, we are requesting that all agents actually ask their clients what the dining preference is for the music charters in particular. It is a very important part of it. The ship can only hold a certain number of people in the show lounges, so we are very cautious to make the early and late dining as even as possible. So if you can, please put whether the clients would like early or late at the time of booking. We will endeavour to obviously be able to actually do as many of those requests as possible and match people up for those. If people are travelling together, which we do find there are lots of groups of people that will travel together, you can also put the information in the special requirements box here so that we can match those clients up for dining as well. All you need to do is put in the client's details here. So as you can see, they're the required sort of boxes here. Title, first name, last name, and date of birth. Then you can pick the agent, pick yourself out of there, and just put your contact details here. Click the box and hit Book Cruise. The next screen you will actually see is the Cruiseco booking number directly for that. We just get reservations to check that information and make sure that the invoice looks correct, and they will then shortly get that sent out to you. So it's a nice, easy way, particularly if you have the client there in front of you. You can do everything without even having to wait on the phone for us. And that's obviously what we're trying to help with as well. Reduce the amount of wait time on the phone if you're able to make some of the bookings online. And the more of these upgrades that we actually have coming through are also helping with that. That's pretty much my webinar for this morning. If you do have any questions, we will be online for a few more minutes after this. And please send through a question and we will endeavour to answer it for you. But if you do have any questions regarding booking using the APIs or the Cruise Finder, please come through to either myself or Amber, and we hope to answer that for you. Thank you.